I had to give my AC a little face because he was looking a bit omniscient, like omnipotent, just like hiding in the other room. And then I'd see a
Yeah.
white box, and I was like, I need a face.
Yeah. It's a little too monolith from 2001: Space Odyssey energy until you put a face on it. Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome to the podcast, Trevor.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Graham. It's
You're welcome.
fun to be here. Super nice meeting you.
Hopefully, it's fun to be here. We're only like 2 seconds in, so it could
Yeah.
get terrible before.
Yeah. Could go a lot
There's
of
every,
different directions. The world is
there's every
is
chance.
full of possibilities.
It is at the moment. I mean, granted, I say at the moment, it's usually full of possibilities. I'm gonna start fairly simply. Who are you?
Wow. Starting off deep.
Hmm.
Uh
It sounds deep. It should be super like easy to
cool.
answer, but everyone panics when you ask them.
Yeah, totally. Like I've listened to podcasts where they have like the intro question and everyone's like, "All right, I've been prepping for this for 4 months." But it's yeah, I what's up? I'm Trevor. Uh I am a film and video editor by profession and then been doing YouTube stuff as well in the past couple months. And really enjoying that. And I also do music, and I live in LA. And yeah, there are more facts about me that exist, but those are the relevant ones for now, I guess. So, um,
Those are
yeah.
the ones applicable to the situation.
Yeah. I could tell you about where I was born, but I don't know if that's like necessarily a part of the text currently, but yeah.
I don't know. I mean, so are you originally from LA? Like, are you from
No,
SA?
I didn't grow up here. I grew up
Right.
in Seattle, then Iowa, then eventually ended up here.
Wow. So you went like
Yeah.
inland and then just like dropped back out again.
Yeah. Pacific Northwest is like boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah.
Um,
So we're on opposite sides of the country right now, as far as we
very
can be,
yeah,
which is
totally. What state are you in?
so I'm living in New Jersey,
New Jersey, cool.
but I'm literally on the boundary of New York sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'd class it as New York, but everyone from New York wouldn't class it as New York. So kind of
Yeah, I went to New York City for the first time in the fall and I was like, wait, New Jersey is how close? And
yeah.
that's so wild to me. It's just like an hour's difference is like, no, they are not like us. And it's like,
It's not even an hour's difference. It's literally like because I take the
yeah.
train from here to the city, it's literally 10 minutes.
Oh
You
my
can change
gosh.
state in 10 minutes, and but they're like, no, once you're through the turnstile, that's a different world. Like,
It seems more of like a mental gymnastics thing.
I feel
Did you
like
see
everywhere is like that.
the second Spider-Verse movie?
I haven't yet. That's something
Yeah.
I haven't picked in yet,
Okay.
but
No
I
worries, no
will.
worries. There's one specific joke where he's like Miles is wanting to go to is doing like the college search kind of situation,
Right.
and he wants to go to a school in New Jersey, and his mom's just like, New Jersey, that's so far, and he's like, New Jersey is far.
Yeah.
um
I feel like I need to defend New Jersey. Like you, I've only lived here since
yeah,
like last October, but at the same
sure.
time, I'm like, no, I feel like I should defend New Jersey.
Yeah, you're like rep New Jersey, like
Yeah, always fight
my
for the underdog.
hometown.
That's
Absolutely.
yeah.
New Jersey's probably the underdog.
I
um
mean, no, that's
yeah.
fair. But no, so you do all sorts. You do like music and film and whatever you
Mhm.
want to do.
Yeah, I just went freelance last summer. I was working in trailers before that, like trailer finishing, which is like final exports for and localization and like a bunch of like post house kind of stuff. And then yeah, I did that for about 4 years and then was like, I want to do things that I want to do more than this. So yeah, so when I went freelance for mostly editing specifically, and just kind of like taking whatever comes my way, which has been a significant assortment of things. But then there was like a uh 3 month break in the spring that I didn't have any work. I was like, will I ever be employed again? We will see. And apparently it was slow for a lot of people in that time as well, but like the first time that had happened to me, so I was like, okay. But yeah, so I had been working on some video essay scripts for a while, but I hadn't actually finished them or like recorded them or committed to actually the final steps of the process. And that gave me kind of the time to actually work on them, which was really fun. So I put out the 3 of the 4 essays on my channel in that time, and recorded the 4th during that time as well. So, and then I got busy with work and stuff, and yeah, so, and then it was weird because I was like, all right, I made a video that I'm very proud of, but don't know if anyone's ever going to see it. That's okay. I did it for me. The people who have seen it that I know think it's great, so I'm proud of it. And then it just kind of like was gaining like a little bit for like 2 months, and then all of a sudden YouTube was like, okay, shifted into overdrive, and then they started recommending it to more people, and I was like, what is happening? What is going
just, like,
on?
picked it up. It was just like, to the front page with you. Like,
Yeah, totally. I was like, what? What's this all about? Why that doesn't seem right. Why is that number getting to that place?
I like the idea that you just sat there, just like, surely this is a mistake. Like,
Yeah,
this isn't. Something's gone wrong here. Like,
yeah. There's a bit of a glitch. Yeah, no, it was really fun. It was really fun to just kind of like ride the wave and like just see people's comments and people being like, I feel the same way. I was like, that's all I ever wanted.
We definitely need to add context to this because people don't know what video we're talking about.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So for anyone not listening, or anyone listening who hasn't figured it out, so you made the for lack of a better term, viral hit of Mamma Mia 2 breakdown. Of covering why Mamma Mia 2 is an absurdist masterpiece, essentially.
Thank you. I have no idea how viral it is. That's the thing. It's like more viral than not, but also not like, I don't know. It's in that weird middle zone where it's like a lot of people have seen it, but I don't know proportionally what that means, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, I'm really proud of it, and I'm really excited that it's stuck its way into people's brains in the way that it has.
Yeah,
Or
that's how I
resonated.
found you.
Yeah.
As a potential guest. It was. I mean, I don't like. It was weird. Like, I don't watch a lot of video essays,
Oh
but I
yeah.
feel like I've been in like a maybe like a like where you find like a vein of them and you suddenly start watching like 20 in a row, that
Real.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I got served it just like randomly one day, and I haven't seen Mamma Mia 2. Like, I hadn't watched Mamma Mia 2, and I was like, even knowing what Mamma Mia is, I could see what you were saying before even the video started. I was like, I get it. Like, yes, rom-coms fall into this weird category where if you sit and you pay attention to them, they don't make much sense. So if Mamma Mia 2 is what I think it is, then yeah, this would make so much sense. And so I was like, yeah, I'll take a dive on it. And I can't remember how many like views it had when I first watched it, but it wasn't at the scale it was now. And then I was like, oh, yep, Trevor makes some amazing points there. So
Thank you. Thank you.
at the same time, I don't want to watch Mamma Mia 2 now because I have the video essay.
You got what you needed to know. Yeah, I guess, like, I don't know. I think like my brain goes to like, in hindsight, I feel like in hindsight you can justify a lot of things that were like, that was a smart move, but like in the moment you were like, it wasn't a smart move, it was just what I was doing, kind of thing. But in hindsight it looks like a unique value proposition. It's like, no one's made this take about this movie on this site, kind of thing, and the value proposition was accessible enough for people to like buy in, kind of thing. And you're just like, but like all of that was on accident, basically. I was just like, this movie's wild and I want to talk about it, and I made it. So yeah, weird. But I I love that people saw that thumbnail and were like, yeah, that sounds like a thing I want to click on. Like that makes me happy that people were like, that seems like I'm about to be entertained or learn something
Yeah,
or get something out of this.
it's either
Um,
gonna go one way or another. Either I'm gonna like click on it and be like, "This is stupid." Like
yeah,
them, like when you do like clickbait articles or
yeah,
whatever. When you
yeah,
click on it, it's like within the 10 minutes, you're like, "I don't want to read the rest of this,"
yeah,
or
yeah,
you're thoroughly invested and you need to
yeah,
watch the whole thing because you,
absolutely.
especially with Mamma Mia too, because it was very much a point of because I didn't know what the rest of the film was or anything about it. Every time you introduce something, I'm watching the film.
Yeah.
It's like
Wow. I didn't think about
I
it
need to
like
know
that.
what
I like
happens
that.
next. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, you
Yeah.
could say anything. You could just be like next next scene, someone explodes, and I'm like, yeah, all
Yeah.
right. I need to know what happens.
Yeah. There was some things I did intentionally structure as like I can't spoil it, and I'm like the movie's been out for 5 years. Like I think I'm allowed to spoil Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, but like I wanted to make the Cher and the Meryl reveals like
Mhm.
dramatically hit at the end because I was like I need it to feel like it feels when you're watching the movie.
Yeah,
Um because I can't like I don't know. It was like they're both on the poster. Like they like
that got me completely.
yeah.
You're like they're on the poster. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Right?
It's just real time reaction of just like shares on the poster. That can't be true. That's
Yeah.
and it was at that point where I was just like, there was a level of I don't know if you're making any of this up,
Oh, yeah.
which is the other side of it because again I'd never seen it, so I was like there's like Wikipedia was suddenly coming up on my phone, like I need to fact check some of the information I'm receiving here because if this is all fake, this is an even better video where you just made up everything about movies.
Oh, wait, that would be actually an incredible idea to like do an in-depth like in-depth dive into a film and make up one fact.
Make it
I
a
think I'm
chapter within the like the essay and the review and
Oh my
just but
gosh.
it's just got to be plausible, that's all it has to be.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, you
Wow.
won't believe it.
I like that idea. I like okay, I'm gonna mull on that. But yeah, when we were talking about what topic to talk about on the podcast, I was like, you
Mhm.
know what, we could let it evolve and figure out as we go, but also Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again is a
We have
pretty
to broach
solid
it.
place to start as well.
Yeah.
Um
It made me wonder. So, like, you're in music and you do film.
mhm.
What did you study for? Did you study for either, or
I studied media communication with a minor in theater, which in hindsight is pretty Mamma Mia core. But I
you were made for this role?
um yeah, it was like I wanted to study film, but I went to a smaller school that didn't really have a big film program. They had like one film prof. I was
Mhm.
at like the TA, so I got to like take out all the equipment and play around with it and that kind of thing. So that was a good experience, but uh the majority of my communications classes were like writing or theory kind of stuff, which I
Yeah.
was like, wait, I like this too. So it was kind of like a good mixture of things. And then I did a theater minor and I was like, I like you theater guys, but like not like a full major enough. Like that sounds like I would explode or die if I did that. So it was a good balance. I got to stage manage some stuff. I got to act in some stuff. I got to take a bunch of cool classes. So, yeah. Um,
Lots of in-depth analysis of everything that's going on, which is
yeah. And also I'm realizing now that we're talking about it that like me going to school for theater had like in part had a direct impact on the Mamma Mia video because I learned about like theater of the absurd and Bertolt Brecht and like Samuel Beckett from like my theater classes.
yeah.
Um and I was literally like in the Twitter DMs with one of my friends from college being like or like just tweeting to the world like does anyone remember who was the person who was like making art that was intending to break the artifice so that people could realize they're watching a play? And my friend was just like, I think that was Brecht. And I was like, yeah, that's right. I think you're right. I think that's Brecht.
It's like the
So
most theatre conversation that's ever happened.
totally. Are
Just like
you
when you hear two people on like the street saying it, you're like, I feel like they're both probably actors. Like I know none of the words which came out of their mouth.
and they said it with so much energy. I can't help but think
They
that they
believed
might
every
be
word they said, and so hey,
their
all I need to
performance.
know about that. Yeah.
Oh, the commitment. Yeah. Did you so you I think you told me that you went to school for film. What did you do any theater? Did you like what's your background in regards to narrative visual arts?
So I love the fact that you described it that way. That's
I've
because
never said that in my life
you
before.
extended it, whereas I always abbreviate everything which I say because it sounds too pretentious, and I'm worried about appearing pretentious. So I studied media studies when I
Okay.
was like 17, and
Nice.
studied that for like a passing grade and whatnot. And then I took that to university and studied contemporary lens media,
Okay.
which was essentially a fine art study of photography and film.
Oh, cool.
So creating short films, directing, camera stuff, but I
Nice.
avoided like a media production kind of course, which is more TV, trailers, traditional
Yeah.
filmmaking, in favor of going down the concept line, which I guess again is how I ended up with your video.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
always cut everything back because I'm just like, this is just a really long way to explain that I studied film. Like,
You're like, you know what? People don't have time. They're busy. Let
no,
me just
they
give
don't
them a
want to
short
know.
version.
They don't want to know I
Oh.
made like an art house film for my final project and it involved a guy in a gas mask and some like TVs with static on it. They don't want to know any of that. And I don't want to explain why I made that.
Oh, that's absolutely the vibe right there. Um, yeah, I didn't know until I started studying film. I was like, oh, there's a difference between learning how to make film and learning how to
Yeah.
read film. So I honestly like I think some of the most film education I ever got was like in those two intro classes, just like giving the basics, like just those initial tools. You can run
Mhm.
a long ways with those initial tools. Um,
Yeah.
Speaking of reading films, I think I was thinking about this recently. There was a moment in my intro to film studies class where we were watching Run Lola Run.
Hmm.
Have you seen the film?
I have. I was shown it in my intro to
Yeah,
media
yeah.
class.
It's very intro to film studies
Yeah.
like energy. But I haven't watched that in a minute. But there was the scenes in Run Lola Run where it cuts after the failed attempts, it cuts to like the bed.
Mhm.
And they're kind of like it does that three times. Why do I remember this? And it's like the first time there's some sort of discord, there's the second time there's some different kind of discord, or like I think the guy is kind of monologuing in the first one, she's monologuing in the second one, and in the third one they're like together and in love, that's kind of what's implied. But
Mhm.
the scene is completely red, like it is monochromatic red. And we were talking about like things we noticed in the movie as like an open discussion in the class, and my friend who I was sitting next to was just like, so in that scene it was all red, which I think is probably like could probably be seen to symbolize love. And the teacher was like, I don't know about that. And I was just kind of sitting there like, what? He was
What
like,
did you
yeah, I
just
think
say?
it was probably something else, kind of thing. And I don't know. In hindsight, maybe he was like, it can't be that simple. I think this filmmaker is probably more interesting and prestigious than a simple choice like that. And it was basically like the whole class being like trying to convince the teacher that the color red could be used to
Yeah.
symbolize love in one of the most heavy-handed visual metaphors I've ever experienced in a film. So that was maybe a little flavor of the kind of film
I feel
education.
like that describes learning film and theory and everything like that almost perfectly because
Yeah.
I to get sick of it. So I tweeted today about the idea that like I was going through some of the work I'm doing and doing some proofing of some illustrations and stuff, and
Okay.
I was like reading through it and trying to read what other people would see, like concept wise, and I was like, I'm referencing things which I didn't realize I'm referencing. Like There's bits
Oh,
in it where I'm like, oh, I recognize that imagery as like this imagery from this play or whatever.
yeah,
I was like, I didn't realize I'd done that.
yeah.
And then thinking like when you're at film school or when you're studying English or anything like that, and the teacher's like, no, this was definitely intended by the author. That's not
And you're
always
like,
true.
yeah.
People just do things.
Oh,
like
yeah.
like I turn this black and white when it goes online, but that's not for like a conceptual reason necessarily. There is some concept there, but not
Yeah.
all concept.
The reason I did it is because I liked it.
Because I'm lazy and
Because I
I'm colorblind.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess
yeah.
why
I
yeah,
don't like color balancing. So I was like, the easiest way to avoid color balancing is make everything black and white. Therefore, I just have to balance shades,
Bob's your
and
uncle. Yeah.
everything looks classy.
Strong move.
Kind of, yeah.
You're
And I'm
working
just
to
like,
your
I just skip that
skills.
bit.
Yeah,
I pick
absolutely.
what I need and I move on.
Totally. And then
Terrible
everyone's
way to
like,
live life.
"Oh, this is like the black and white cut of Mad Max Fury Road. This is so deep."
Yeah.
And you're
It's
just
like,
like,
oh, referencing
yeah,
coffee and cigarettes and, all the conversations that happened around that. It's all out noir. I'm like, no, 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 no. This is just sheer
absolutely.
laziness.
Yeah. So I guess speaking of black and white, I kind of want to go talk
Hmm,
about film school some more, but I was just watching Malcolm and Marie yesterday. Do you know this one?
okay. No, I
It came
don't.
out on Netflix during the pandemic. It's directed by Sam Levinson and stars Zendaya,
Mhm.
and John David Washington, I think. And yeah, it's a movie that is in black and white. And it's one of those movies that it's like, I don't know, black and white movies don't need to be in like don't need to justify why they're in black and white. Like they can just be in
Yeah.
black and white, and that's okay. But like, this was a movie where I was like, now, why is this in black and white? Like I guess
Hmm.
now that I'm thinking about it, I can think of some things, but like I don't know. Whenever you see something in black and white and you don't necessarily have full unabashed trust in the director, you're like, is this just pretentious? Like does this have no artistic purpose than to signal
Yeah.
to you that this is supposed to be deeper?
Yeah.
Um, so, but yeah, I don't know. Jury's out. That's
I
what
feel like
yeah.
it falls into that category. Like,
Yeah, but it's
yeah,
it's in the maybe zone. So
yeah.
I don't
But I
know.
feel like that's a good reference to something which I was going to ask you, which
Oh yeah.
was so we have quite a similar background in terms of things which we studied,
Mhm.
and I have a firm belief that the things which we studied ruined entertainment
Oh,
for ourselves
you
because,
think?
like, you watched that film and you instantly went, "Why is this in black and white? What does that mean?"
Yeah.
A normal person doesn't do that. They watch it and go, "This is in black and white. I'm going to watch this film."
Moving
Or this is
on.
like they'll
Yeah.
skip to the end of, oh yeah, no, this is just doing it for pretentious reasons, but I'll carry on watching the film. Whereas the
Yeah.
likes of us will sit and watch a film and be like, don't know how I trust this director.
Yeah, exactly. I I guess my read on it is that it's expanded my experience of watching film. Um, but also there are certain times where I'm just like, man, I wish I didn't notice that this was shot badly, you know?
Yeah.
Like like there are definitely times where it's, I don't know. Like if you're, yeah, there's definitely things where it's like just enjoy the movie, but I also think it opens up a different kind of paradigm where things that are like popcorn movies or like just your typical Hollywood fare, it
Yeah.
allows you to see it with a different level of appreciation. Like I think like step one of learning film is like, wait, everything Hollywood makes sucks, and the only indie films and art films are good, kind of thing, and
Yeah.
then like I think the next, like, a level of maturity that it's weird to call yourself mature, but like I think there's a level of maturity in like reading film
Mhm.
to look, to get to the point where you're like, wait a second, this this owns this. Wait, can I swear on here?
Yeah.
Probably, right? Yeah,
No,
okay.
fuck it. We
This
do whatever we want.
fucks. Yeah, like this movie fucks and it owns, and also 3 stars, like I think that's one of my favorite kinds of movies. And like I think one of the first movies I remember feeling that way about was, I don't know. I think it probably I would rate it higher in hindsight because it just had such a lasting effect on me. I also don't love star ratings, but I watched Ready or Not. Have you seen this? Came out like 2018. It's like a horror thriller kind of
It rings a
comedy.
bell, but I can't think like
Yeah.
yeah.
It's about a couple that are getting married at this very wealthy estate owned by the groom. And the groom's kind of like, yeah, sorry, my family, they're just kind of like weird, like old money, you know, kind of thing. And then
Mhm.
as like a after this the wedding, like the wedding night, they're like, oh, it's customary for us to play a game. And it's like, okay, I'll go play your family's weird game kind of thing. And it's hide and go seek with the bride. And if
Right.
anyone finds them, they kill her. um
Of course.
and it rules. It's such a good movie, and she's kind of like, this is fun, until she's like, oh my god, people are dying. So it is so fun. But also it's like, I don't know if this is a good movie, but I had a really,
Yeah.
really good time watching it. Like, it's not like peak, it didn't like tell me new things about the human experience in a deep, resonant way and changed me forever, but it also
Yeah.
like was a really good time. So
Definitely. I
yeah.
remember I watched a YouTuber called Eddie Burback. You
Oh,
might know.
I've been hearing more about him and I need to watch his stuff.
He did an interesting thing where he went and watched the Jared Leto vampire movie Morpheus like every day for a week at the cinema whilst it was out. And I at first I was like, oh well, I'd watched some of his stuff before and I thought it was fun, but at the same time I was like, well, this is just going to be interesting because he's kind of doing like what we say, he's critically analyzing a film which should never have been critically analyzed, right?
Right.
No one should have sat down and said this is an artistic piece, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm curious what happens. And he tries so hard to find meaning in it and tries so hard to find like a reason why it's doing things and why it's happening. And he can't. And I was like, yeah, that's a lot of cinema. You don't necessarily need a lot of meaning in it, like you're
Mhm.
saying. Just like it could just be a good film. But on this one, it's just a bad film, according to most people. I still never
Okay.
seen it.
I've still never seen either. That's a really good bit, and
Yeah.
I there's something that I have. There's like a kinship for me, like with the idea of like spiraling about something that does not merit spiraling,
Definitely.
um,
Yeah.
which is kind of, I think, where I kind of want to go with my channel is like, because I think some of the like people's favorite YouTubers are like, hey, here's a topic you've never heard of. I'm gonna talk about it with increasing fervor for 4 hours, you know, like Jenny Nicholson is one of the top YouTubers for me, I think. And like, have you watched Jenny Nicholson videos before?
I've seen a little bit of Jane Nicholson stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I think her Evermore video is extremely good. It's also like
I
four
think
hours long.
Yeah, I think this is like as much as I gripe about YouTube a lot. Like I will not lie. Like I gripe.
That's
I
fair.
think in fact I have a video about the old YouTube where it's just me
Oh,
30 minutes just griping about how the new YouTube isn't the old YouTube in an old man
so
fashion,
true. Yeah, old man
which
yells
is
at cloud.
but it's very much like one of these things of I there's like a weird part of me which still loves YouTube because like you say we do have these like little pockets of passion which you find on the platform, like video essays, where even if you're not interested, you'll get like hooked in. You oh, why am I watching an hour long video about the lines at Disneyland? Because I'm watching an hour long video about the lines at Disneyland, and I have no
Exactly.
interest in going to Disneyland, but I'm curious how the ticketing system works, and now I have someone explaining it to me, and I'm okay with that.
100%. 100%. Um, yeah, that's a good video. That's a good video.
Yeah, for you instantly, like with we were the same age, like I know Trevor's watched this video. Like before I even said it, I was like, I know he's seen this video.
Yeah. So I think that I've thought, I don't want to necessarily go on this as like a permanent rabbit trail, but like
No.
I think people say a lot in terms of like like advice for craft, you know. It's like, if you
Mm.
want to be a good filmmaker, just watch so many movies, kind of thing. Like just like, and if you want to be a screenwriter, read a ton of screenplays, like, and it's like, that seems like good advice, but like those are two things that I've at some point in my life wanted to do as like my main thing, but I'm like, but I do not want to do the work required to be extremely studied in this, you know. Like, I like to watch
Yes.
movies. I do not like to watch movies obsessively and constantly. I like to watch a nice movie once or twice a month, maybe, you know? Like, I don't actually watch that many movies
Hmm.
in comparison to people who really, really love movies. I don't know. I've probably read like less than 20 screenplays in my life. You know, like, I don't, it's not necessarily fun for me, but like, I think the thing is like the advice kind of feels like it contains within it like a make yourself do this kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
like this hold your hand to the fire, like keep striving, like I know you don't want to watch movies but do it anyways kind of thing. I don't know, maybe I'm reading into it, but like with video essays it's like, oh, that's just what I watch all the time, constantly. That's just a thing that's been like a primary, if not completely at the top of the pile of media consumption for like 5 years. And it's like, oh yeah, it is kind of fun to just be able to like pull from a bunch of different reference places because they're just
Mhm.
in you because you liked them and enjoyed experiencing them, you know. um
Definitely. I find it
yeah,
interesting as well. Like I think video essays are a great way of like our generation. I mean, I say our generation. I have no idea how old you are, Trevor. But we could be the same age. We could not. The
yeah,
beard throws it off.
I'm
Um,
28.
okay, yeah. So we're kind of similar. Like I'm 33. So it's yeah.
Yeah,
It's very much like we our generation gets a lot of crap for not being interested in things and never like we didn't learn things properly or we didn't do that kind of
yeah.
thing. But I think video essays are a great example of where it's just evident that a lot of people weren't given the right format for the information they were receiving.
Whoa.
So it's like my brother, we always talk about kind of school and when we were teenagers, and he hated school and he
Yeah,
struggled with it on a large level, and he always says, well, yeah, but you basically asked a fish to climb a tree. That's like
yeah,
that metaphor, and I say, well, yeah, but if you've been presented YouTube video essays about each of these topics in an entertaining manner, you'd probably have retained all of it because you know so much more about all these other things which you've sat and watched these essays on. It's like, well, yeah, because we teach kids wrong. Like, it's like a
wow,
weird little balance, but YouTube's filled that gap.
holy
That's why they're
crap.
kind of important.
Yeah, like philosophy too, being like, yeah, I am aware that teachers show my videos in classes. Like, that's so wild. I did have someone comment like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna show this. I'm gonna send the link to my like high school English teacher for the Mamma Mia videos." Like, I would love nothing more. I don't know how this would relate to any of your curriculum, but like, go off. Um, but yeah, it's I think there was like, I think there was a little bit of like hand wringing a bit at I don't know,
Hmm.
when I was kind of diving into video essays in like 2018, 2017 about kind of like the medium of edutainment. um
Right.
and I think like, I don't know, I guess I could see there can be some valid concerns about the medium in terms of not the concerns, not the concerns, but the like is the point to entertain or is the point to educate, you know? It's like sometimes they can be best friends, but sometimes it's like, well, you're not really like the if the point is to entertain, then the value of the education can be, I don't know, lessened, but also sometimes if
Yeah.
it's too much education and not enough entertainment. Like, there's actually been some YouTubers that I've seen kind of like go on an arc of, your videos are so dry, they're chock full of good information, but
Yeah.
like, and like a lot of like leftist raising class consciousness kind of thing. It's like, buddy, respect it, however, I don't like watching your videos because I'm not having fun, kind of thing. But like, I
Yeah.
think they've like realized that and been like, oh, wait, let me like throw in some skits. Let me like throw in like some more goofy things. And like, let me just like work on being engaging the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like it's kind of created a whole new way of like engaging with media in like from the creator side of like learning how to remain engaging. Um
Yeah.
Whoa, I've never said that out loud. I just am realizing that in the moment. Because I like, I
That's
don't
going to
know.
be the title of this video now.
Oh, okay. I love it.
I've never said that out loud. I'm just
I've never
realizing
said
that.
creator reveals all.
Yeah, creator reveals all. That's the clickbait. We're done.
Yeah,
We can
And
ship
then
it. Yeah.
cut to the actual thing where it's like, oh, it's just a minor revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. I strive to keep something as entertaining as long as possible, which I think film as a medium tends to want to do as well. But
Yeah. I mean, you made videos about games as well. Like that's
yeah,
yeah.
true.
And I think it was interesting, kind of like watching your essays and like as you say, kind of doing like the spiraling aspect of just like you grabbed onto a thought and was just like, I'm gonna run with this thought and
Mm,
script
mhm.
this out. And at some level of me was like, I wonder how much of this is scripted or whether you're just like spitballing this completely.
Yeah. Wait, actually, yeah. The first three videos I released were fully scripted, and then the second Mamma Mia one was fully off the cuff. But um, yeah, I feel like I don't know. I do okay unscripted, but I like don't say as articulate things. If I haven't had time to like actually sit with, is that a sentence I want to say? Is that how I want to say it? Is that actually addressing the idea the way that I want to address it?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know, but it also takes way longer. I keep every time I start a new script, I'm just like, wow, why does this take so long? Why? I just want the script to be done so I can film this, but I have well, I don't know. It's like you just throw down 1,000 words on a page in a day, and you're like, I'm not close. I'm not
Yeah.
even
It's like
close.
2 minutes of footage there. That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
I feel like that's
but
something like the general public are never aware of is that a script's 90 pages, but that doesn't mean 90 minutes. So like,
yeah,
he's just like, that's not how words work. You can write for 3 hours and you have 10 minutes. That's worrying.
it's like doing stop motion animation. You're just like,
Yeah.
congrats, you took 20 photos. That's 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah. um, Yeah, it's wild. It's also like I haven't been in a situation where like I've had people being like, can't wait for the next one yet until just like more recently, and I'm like, oh, well, nobody's been looking at my timeline until now. And I'm looking at my timeline and I'm like, this might take a minute.
Yeah.
um and I would like to release it immediately, but it is not done. So what do I? And I think taking time is probably the best way to go. But
Yeah.
like, it
I
is
think you have
weird.
to like whatever you're making. I feel like you have to. I always say there's a line which is like this is supposed to be fun, right?
Yeah,
Like we shouldn't be doing
yeah,
this unless we got enjoyment out of it. So
exactly,
when it
exactly.
becomes like going to be this deadline and I got to do it
Right.
weekly or whatever,
Yeah,
you just it's that like quality just dips.
absolutely. Yeah, one thing that's been really important for me, and like this might sound a little pretentious in my like artistic endeavors, whatever it may be, is like if I'm not enjoying doing it,
Mhm.
then there's a problem. Because I should be doing this because I want to do it, not because I need people to have it, you know? Because also when you're like releasing music for like just your friends and like there's a very little chance that like a lot of other people are going to hear it, you're kind of like, well, this better be fun because there isn't actually like a big reward, I suppose, at the end of the rainbow. It's like the biggest reward, I suppose, is like just have it's putting something out there and having people resonate with it and be just like, oh, hell yeah, that's what I wanted all along. But also, like, if I'm not enjoying the process of making it, then it's like I don't I don't know if I don't know. I don't fuck with art as punishment, you know, like or or punishment as a methodology of art, of like trying to like sports art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Anyways.
sure. Yeah, I think, I mean, it kind of goes back to that whole, like you're saying, hold your feet to the fire, like aspect of things. Is I, I usually I end up back and forth on it at times because it's very
Yeah.
much like, yeah, I'm creating things and I enjoy creating things, but there are parts of creating things which I hate, like doing proofing, like doing graphic design stuff. I hate all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. I enjoy the
Mm-hmm.
drawing aspect of it, but
Mm-hmm.
I have to remind myself that this is part of the process, but it's not the entire process, right?
Yeah.
Like like scripting's terrible, but it's part of the process because the fun bits, the editing bit, which you get to do, you get to do all the fun
Yeah.
bits. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. I think I may still be working on a like ethos, or like a way of relating to the difficult parts of the creative process
Mm.
that don't make me just want to shut off and go away, you know.
Yeah.
um and like the parts of the creative process that can intermingle with a schedule or a timeline, you know, and that being okay and valid and not like antithetical to the process. um but yeah, I mean, like, there's definitely times where I'm like, I would like to not be doing this right now, but I also like doing it right now at the same time, and I don't know how to reconcile that. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
Finding an enjoyment life balance is a hard one.
Yeah, no, that's real.
That's
um,
real. We all deal with it.
yeah. Um, are there any movies that like make your brain feel like it's on fire,
In like a bad way or a good way? Because I feel like they're very
or
close.
or both, or neither? Yeah.
Um, so the example I thought of and what I thought of kind of when I was coming into the call
Hmm.
was what your video reminded me of was an idea I had a while back, which was critically analyzing 80s music videos,
Oh,
like
I
diving
like
in on
that.
them and just teach what's the word? Approaching them as a kind of a finished piece of fine art. That they weren't just
Yes.
exploring a medium, they weren't just making fun things. Because there was a video I watched when I first moved here, which is "Can't Hold Back" by Survivor,
Okay.
and the music video for it is frankly awful, but it's mainly because of the acting of the band members. And when you watch it, you're like, this feels off, this feels wrong. And then I was like, what if you did this for just every music video from that period? And then that
Yep.
kind of progressed in my head of thinking of kind of new metal videos and bands from like the early 2000s. And like, all their videos, they were created with artistic intent, but some of those are really bad, but also not really bad. Are they bad, or am I just comparing them to what we create now? But
Wow.
what do we create now in terms of music videos? Because high profile music videos tend to have very successful directors or writers behind them.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's kind of it was that was the first thought which came to me. I was like, if we're at a level where we're critically analyzing films which are seen as like throwaway or just for enjoyment, are we doing that for everything? Like,
Yeah.
do we approach it like,
I
should I sit and criticize? Like, could we criticize TikTok? Could I watch TikTok and approach it like a fine art piece
yeah,
where everything counts? And I'm like,
absolutely.
that's what gets my brain fired.
I mess with it. I like it. That I I love the idea of like using a slightly incorrect artistic lens to interpret something. Um and I think that sounds right up in that alley in terms of like there's just something so like it can be difficult to not like break the character, but like if you can commit to like pretending to be pretentious enough to consider this as like a masterwork fully intended on every level, like no, like
Yeah,
full death of the author, like this is just what I am experiencing, you know, or like
yeah,
actually not death of the author, like this is exactly what the author intended. That's, yeah, that's more like it. It's like this this was masterful that they did all of this on purpose to make me feel this way. Like,
Yeah.
that's a fun lens to me. But it's also kind of like, I feel like it's kind of hard to explain. I don't know.
Yeah. It's
I've
there's
been,
definitely a level of it.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
difficult to get into, but like it's the thing I like. I always say that the things which really trigger my brain of like this is really interesting are the really mundane things in life
Oh yeah.
where like you know you the classic example I give is a car park or like a where
Mhm.
you know where you put your
Yeah.
vehicles. I'm like you're walking through there. I'm like cool. This was built as a functional item for society. But conceptually, when you're walking through it, there's so much negative and liminal space. There's no way to avoid the concept that all of these people searched for these parking spots.
Uh, yeah.
Like stuff like that. Like, that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah.
Oh.
We could.
Um, yeah, no, I love, oh, I just slipped into the liminal dread there for a second. I love
Sure
it.
does. Sorry.
Um, the yeah, I've been I think I kind of want to make more stuff that's like, maybe what it needs is like some sort of like character. Like, have you ever watched Brian David Gilbert's Unraveled on Polygon?
Rings a bell. I've not seen it now.
Okay, yeah, it's no longer current, but there's a backlog of things. Like, it stopped a couple of years ago, but like, um it's this it's this guy basically like doing like like highly researched spirals on video games, and like
Right.
proving that like Kirby is like a god, or like Waluigi is like a main character and deserves a main character Nintendo game, or like trying to critically analyze and create the definitive ordering of all of the Zelda games, kind of thing. So like,
Right.
but like he's kind of playing a character, as like, he's like, no, there must be more, this must be intentional, like that we have to get to the bottom of this, kind of thing. Which I think allows for it to be heightened, you know.
Mm.
And I think like when I was doing the Mamma Mia video, I was like, well, yeah, I want to say it's an absurdist masterpiece, but there are parts of this movie that are not exclusively an absurdist masterpiece. So like, how do I do that in such a way that is grounded in a textual reading, but also
Mhm.
not like, no, that's just not true, you're just lying about this movie, kind of thing, you know? Um, but I think like doing comedically heightened reads as like as a comedic thing would be its own thing, but I keep wanting to maybe do that. It's like pretend that something that is strange was intentional.
Yeah.
Um, but it's often not, and you know immediately that it's not. It's like, no, that was an accident through and through. And like, how do I keep people's suspension of disbelief from breaking watching my video, um if I am just saying a bunch of wild inane things that they are like, no, that's not true.
You
um
just have to litter in like some more realistic things every so often. Like
True,
the
true.
thing which I thought was interesting about yours, and I thought was interesting when I recently watched your Knives Out
Oh
video,
yeah.
was because
Mm-hmm.
it's because your camera work on you is so simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's you in like a lamp or it's you in a chair.
Mm-hmm.
It drags you in to say, well, he's monologuing about this item and he's monologuing about this thing which is so serious, but you weren't like laughing, guffawing, your hands were everywhere. It's just
Yeah.
you and the lens, so it becomes like a private noir like
Whoa.
intro to films where you're like, yeah, this is a person in a dark room and they're talking about a very serious subject, therefore I'm just going to take everything they say at face value
Whoa.
because I have no reason to question this unless the first thing you say is absurd when you come in
Whoa.
and you're
Yeah.
like, oh well, this is clearly a bit, but no, like no, this is he's just discussing Mamma Mia.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm torn between like doing bits and like textual analysis. Like I actually sometimes I'm just like I want to actually like find the truth of what this thing is, and then
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like I want to pretend like this was a masterwork. um so maybe it's a little bit of both, maybe it's not needing to do both at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like
um
you could go. I feel like you're in that like that sweet spot where you could instantly get more obscure, like video to video.
yeah,
Like you could start off doing like your standard thing and everyone likes it, and then like
yeah,
20 videos down, you're in like a trench coat with a wall and like all the strings on it.
yeah,
You just like
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
this is
yeah,
what I'm trying to
exactly.
prove. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But like you say, it's whether you can maintain that character.
Yeah.
Because YouTube's interesting. I find YouTube's interesting if it creates characters out of all of us,
Mm-hmm.
whether we want to or not. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is as honest as I can be as a person because this is unscripted and unedited, and all my videos are unscripted and unedited. But
Yep.
obviously, I'm performing for a camera and for you in some aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm,
It's very strange.
who is real and
um
who is not true?
exactly, exactly. It's really, yeah. I don't need to talk about this too much, I don't think, but like it's been strange like getting used to being seen on the other end of a parasocial dynamic I'm very familiar with from the receiver side, like
Mm,
I like I like there's a lot of creators where I'm just like this person's really cool and is probably really chill to hang out with, but also I want to keep it that way because I don't want to meet them in real life because that would make it weird. um but like now like getting like DMs from people and I'm just like I am a character to you. Like I am like a greater than life size version of myself to you because of the way I've condensed myself, which is such a strange, because I'm just like I'm just me over here, but like apparently due to the power of editing and the internet, something else has occurred here in terms of social dynamics, which is so fascinating to me.
you take on like a next level like interest of just like you say, it kind of becomes like a caricature of yourself,
Yeah.
even when you're trying not to be. Like even when
Yeah.
it's just trying to be yourself, talk about what you want to talk about.
Mm,
It's unavoidable. But then I guess we make that decisions by putting ourselves on camera
it's
because
true.
we're both aware of what a camera does
Yeah. I was trying
and
to like
sometimes.
just I was trying to record like a little Instagram like story just to tell people to go see Barbie. And I had a moment. I was standing in my house. I was like, I am tired by the concept of turning my camera on.
Hmm.
Like the idea of capturing myself in a way to be perceived more than I currently am being perceived in a slightly more permanent way, like only available for 24 hours kind of situation, but
Yeah.
like people are going to see me, but before this moment I was alone in my house. Like there was just like an emotional shift there where I was like, I gotta like take a deep breath and hype myself up here for a second before I like appear on camera in a way that I want people to see.
Yeah.
Being perceived is strange.
But
uh.
studying media and how we project into the world, that doesn't ruin how we interpret our day to day, right? It doesn't take us 20 minutes to put ourselves on camera.
I set up this microphone, destroy the artifice. This was not here before.
I didn't move things out of the background because I was like, that's weird that that's there. That shouldn't be there. Why is that in that shot?
I literally
I left
moved the
Toby in
plant.
shot.
um yeah, I don't know. Have you watched any of CJ the X's videos?
I have seen some CJX videos.
Yeah, I love that. I love their stuff. But there's just like this running joke of kind of like, you're not my friend, you don't know me. Like, which is like, and then like partway through like the Bro Burnham Jeff Bezos video, he like uh they acknowledge that the whole I hate you, don't look at me, you don't know me thing is a bit. It like goes into depth about that dynamic, which was intentionally created in this. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, but like, I don't know. Sometimes I appreciate it when like creators are like, "You're not my friend." Oh, there's a David Gilbert thing where I think he was starting to get some pretty intense parasocial like relationship kind of attention
Right.
online, in kind of like a capital R relationship, people falling in love with him kind of thing. And um and I think there was like this fake out where he like shaved off his beard or something like that in one of the videos, and then he like turns directly to the camera and he's like, "You have no control over me, you don't know me," or something like that. And um oh yeah, I think the line is, "You're not my friend and you have no say over what I do with my body," which is like a funny punchline, but also like, hey, love a line in the sand. Like, I respect
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
You got to. You got to like
Um,
push a boundary every once in a while.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like, hey guys, chill out. But yeah, uh, yeah, being perceived, very, very cool and fun. The mortifying ordeal of being perceived, if you will. Um, anyways, we could talk about anything else.
We came with
um,
such a roundabout of just like, yeah, so, I made a video about Mamma Mia too, but also, being perceived by people is unusual, and I'm not sure I'm comfortable with it.
exactly. That's where it goes, baby. Um,
But we can avoid concept if we tried. Like,
yeah, totally.
there's no escaping
Um,
this.
just checking time. I'm chilling, but like, how long do you usually go for? Just as
Oh,
long
we
as
usually
it
go for
goes.
like an hour, like
An hour.
like
Okay,
an hour,
cool.
hour and a bit. Usually,
Okay.
like it's when we find a good point to round out. We could end
Yeah.
now, and it'd just be
Yeah.
completely absurd. But
Yeah. We should keep going for a little bit and then finish after that. But okay.
I like going for a hike. Like
Yeah.
when you're on a hike and you just like walking along, and you're like, we should turn back, and then you're like, I don't know, I could go for a little longer.
But yeah, there's also like the whole I have to go the exact same length back kind of situation. Um,
Yeah.
so
How far do you
yeah.
want to travel back? That's,
Whoa,
that's the way to
deep. Do
travel too
you
far.
I just like talking about Mamma Mia. Do you like have any questions that emerged for you while watching the video, or things that you're like, yeah, I've never seen the movie, so does this happen? What's going on here? I don't know.
Wait, so what interested me about Mamma Mia 2, again, in comparison, because I haven't seen Mamma Mia 1, and I'm
Yeah,
basically just waiting for your follow-up video to explain Mamma Mia 1 for me. I don't care about watching Mamma Mia. I want you to explain Mamma Mia to me. That's my new
yeah,
life. That's the parasocial relationship we have now, Trevor. Like,
exactly.
sorry.
That's the
You're like,
contract.
it's like the talking clock. I'm gonna ring you. You're gonna tell me what it's about. I'm like, yeah, cool. I don't need to watch that anymore.
Perfect. Absolutely.
But
I
I guess,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I think I might eventually do a Mamma Mia 1 video. I think that would be fun, and people apparently liked the 2 one, so like that would be fun. But I'm like, I don't know what my take is. It's just a good movie. Like, it's like
Okay.
2 is weird. 1 is just, I think, like just a very solid indie movie. Like it's so I could do
What,
like a
indie
I
movie?
love it. It's got kind of an indie vibe to it. Like I don't know, if you go and watch a clip, like the way
Right.
they color graded it and the way they shot it feels very indie to me in a way. Like 2 does not at all. Like 2 is very big studio budget, but like um 1 is like they just kind of like did a little hopped on over to a Greek island and like just recorded a film and had a lot of booze and like had a good time. But it's like actually structurally, I think, very defensible and enjoyable. Um so yeah,
I,
anyways,
I,
that was my little
I got the
rabbit
vibe
hole.
from kind of watching what you showed me was it's like it would have worked better as a stage show. Like
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
everything you kind of brought up as this is unusual, or this is weird,
Hmm.
for a film, especially like a musical film. I was watching it like, well, yeah, but if I saw this on stage, I'd be okay with this. Like this would make sense.
Right, right,
Like
right.
the scene with the transition rooms and the
Oh,
everything around that.
absolutely.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's just stage work. That's just their work.
Yeah.
Because like you say, it's like it's in a film. They made a conscious choice to put a like a lens here and justify these people in these rooms, and then
Mm-hmm.
spinning the camera, that fascinated me.
Mm-hmm.
It like span and it just showed you the wall which was missing. I was like, I'm
That
so
messed me up.
confused.
That messed me up.
I have a question of like, who do you think the
Yeah.
film's made for?
Ooh. Um, the second one specifically?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I could figure out the audience for the first one, and I
Yeah.
could see a studio saying, we want to make a second one because this was huge, it
Mm-hmm.
was a big hit, right? But to make the second one in the format that they did ignores the first one in some level. And I'm like, so
Yeah.
who made this and who made this for who? It's a lot of
Uh-huh.
who's, but
Like they made it for Mamma Mia fans, but they also like messed up they changed significant details from the first movie, which like I had a lot of people in my comments like trying to tell me like the things that I should have mentioned kind of thing, which I'm like respect. Um I think I should have mentioned it in like the bonus little Patreon moment, but like they're like they explicitly tell the order in which the like Donna meets the three men in the first movie, and then in the second movie they just don't do that order. um like they just change that for some reason. It's like, so you were making a sequel, you were making a sequel to this film that gave you
yeah.
explicit instructions on how this was supposed to go, and then you were like nope. And like maybe it worked better narratively, like I can understand that. Maybe they were like no one's gonna notice, probably 90% people didn't.
Yeah.
But and then also they mention in the first movie that Donna's mom is dead, and then she comes back in the second movie. So it's a lot of discontinuity. So it's like Mamma Mia 2 is almost not for Mamma Mia fans. So it's like, who is it for in that way? But it also is totally for Mamma Mia fans. um
Yeah.
I think Mamma Mia as a franchise caters most specifically to like middle-aged moms, like wine mom energy, and like gay guys basically. Like I think like also, I guess I didn't really talk about it that much in the video, but like I'm bi, and like watching this movie through kind of like a seeing this as a big gay spectacle kind of thing is like a lovely level of like appreciation for this kind of thing. It can be so stupid, but because it's
Mhm.
so sparkly and colorful and like gay, it's like so joyful to experience it in that way. um
I wonder if there's like a level of intention to that. Like they had the first film come out and they didn't expect it to be as popular with that audience as they expected. They were like,
yeah,
we could amp this up, right?
yeah, we can
Like
make this gay.
we could turn this better. Yeah, we could make this gay. Why not? Like
Oh totally, yeah.
yeah.
um
Even though
yeah,
it's a film about Mamma Mia, which is I'm just like I feel like
yeah,
that's a pretty iconic gay thing already. Like I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, I guess there's maybe more. Maybe I need to learn more about the history of the relationship between ABBA and the queer community, and also between Mamma Mia as a stage
Hmm.
musical and a film, and the queer community. I think that could be an interesting kind of lens to experience that through. Um,
Interesting you describe Mamma Mia as a franchise.
it's two
And
movies.
I'm like, my brain just clicks in and was like, hang on, is
uh,
it a franchise? It's like, it has two films, it has a musical.
mhm.
Mm,
It's I don't know. I've seen it described that way online. I've called it that, but I also have seen other people call it that. I also like had a bit where it just didn't like, there's a bit in the script that I actually filmed that it didn't make it into the video, where I was basically like, and good news, Mamma Mia fans, there's actually a third movie in the works, but like they basically just never know when it's going to happen because it requires like a act of God scheduling wise to get all of those people available at the same time.
yeah.
Um and but like Christine Baranski says she's down. Lily James says she's down. A bunch of people are like, hell fucking yeah, I'm in for Mamma Mia 3. But it hasn't been announced. But they have been like rumoring and talking about it for a couple of years now. So yeah, it's like I guess a franchise, you know, like sort of
How do you go
like
bigger? Like how,
what?
how do you go bigger than
How do you
like from my understanding of the Mamma Mia franchise, like Mamma Mia one starts off like pretty plain, like love story,
yeah.
Mamma Mia, you know,
Yo.
throwing ABBA songs, blah 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 blah. Mamma Mia two steps off a ledge into whatever they wanted to do, they were just doing it, like even just changing history of Mamma Mia to be like, you
Yeah.
know what, this works better.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That doesn't matter. We can wreck on that, and we'll throw
Hmm.
Sharon because you know why not? And
Yeah.
then yeah, how do you can't top that, can you?
Yeah. I think the people that Mamma Mia 2 is for is people who wanted to see a silly little musical, and also people who
Mhm.
grew up with ABBA in
Yeah,
any capacity, and also people who have since learned to love ABBA since experiencing Mamma Mia, which is a
yeah.
whole nother group of people, myself included. Like I didn't really know ABBA much until Mamma Mia. Um, so yeah, I think it's like in terms of like four quadrant movies, like I forget who's in each quadrant, but it covers a lot more bases than you would
Right.
anticipate. You would think it's like this is exclusively for moms and no one else kind of thing, but it's like
Yeah.
a lot of people like Mamma Mia, and like also like there's been a lot of people that are like way younger than me hopping in those in the comments being like, I first saw Mamma Mia 2 when I was in middle school, and I was like, oh my god. No. I was out of college when I saw it. Like, so like apparently it's found a younger generation as well, so like I don't understand how that happens, but like I think it like families watched this apparently. I watched Mamma Mia 1 with my family back
Hmm.
in the day. Um the day. Um yeah,
Back in
I
the years ago in the
the year
2010s.
yeah, in the
Like,
2010s.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh so yeah, I don't know. I think it's one of those movies that feels like it's more niche than you would think it
Mm.
is, and then I don't know, it's one of those I've also been having a bit of a re-reckoning of like wait, there are so many things that I just never saw growing up because it was like that's a girl thing, that's a mom thing, that's like
Yeah.
a like my mom was really into the BBC Pride and Prejudice, and she was like, "It's
Right.
just a girl thing." Yeah, I don't know if you like kind of I don't know. I don't. She didn't say it like
That's
that, but
interesting.
she was
Yeah.
like, "This is my thing, and you don't have to like it," kind of thing. And in hindsight, I'm just like, "No, this is like perfectly respectable. Like this
Yeah.
is not bad. Like this is any shame attached to this is paratext, you know? Like that's
Yeah.
like that is a perfectly fine thing to like, and I think like kind of queering things and looking at them through like a wait, why did we think that was just for this group of people kind of thing, you know?
I think
Um
this is like this is an interesting like week to be discussing this as well, considering Barbie and like the Barbie and Oppenheimer like
the Barbenheimer
duo
girl.
came out, and
Yeah,
like you say, like this the audience for it is not the audience you expect it to be. Like if we were discussing this 20 years
right.
ago, we wouldn't be
Yeah.
discussing like in any capacity the idea of, you know, just general audiences going to see it. You'd be like, this is
Right.
exclusive, like
Right,
12-year-old girls.
this is a girl movie. Like this is,
Yeah,
and if it's not like it's a PG-13 movie, so it's just an adult woman
yeah,
movie kind of thing.
yeah,
But it's like I was talking with some friends and I was like, Barbie will crush Oppenheimer. Like
oh, yeah,
hands down. It's no question. Like you would think that like maybe in this in this it's like we got the big guns of big boy cinema over here, and then we got the sparkly pink movie kind of thing. You would like I don't know, like the traditional kind of like patriarchal like lens on it would be like Oppenheimer will probably be the better movie more people like kind of thing, but like
yeah,
no, like more people are going to see Barbie, like
yeah.
straight up.
Just just hands down, more people will go see Barbie. Like that's
Absolutely.
yeah,
um and it's also like there's the percentage of people who will care about Barbie who do not care about any like artsy kind of movie, you know, or like
yeah,
weird to call Christopher Nolan artsy in turn because he's one of the most like commercially accessible like big
yeah.
like blockbuster art movie kind of creators, I suppose. Anyways, but yeah, no, I love that it's like everyone on the fucking planet wants to go see Barbie, which is like as they should. Um But yeah.
It, it's a weird. So I was discussing it with a friend the other day because we were having this weird conversation where we were discussing the Barbie movie, and he sent me a
Yeah.
clip and was just like, the more I see of this film, the more I want to go see it. And I had the opposite reaction, which was when I heard about it announced and I saw the trailer, I was like, yeah, this looks great, and I'm more into it.
Mm.
And then the more people keep sending me clip wise, I'm like, I don't actually know if I really want to see this film anymore. Like,
Really?
I want to see it more than I want to see Oppenheimer because I'm not too fussed about Oppenheimer.
Mm.
But at the same time, like I'm being shown so much that I'm just like, yeah, I'm not too fussed about seeing it anymore. I'll watch it when it comes out, like on streaming devices. But like you say, yeah, the audience balance is different, and part of my brain was wondering, just to spiral a little bit, of how that will affect audiences because like we say, like let's say this was came out 20 years ago, if you went as like a 12-year-old girl
Mm-hmm.
to see this film, the audience would be the majority of that. Whereas you go
Mm-hmm.
see it now and you're going to have such a range of people in the
Mm-hmm.
audience, how you experience that film changes.
Yeah.
And that's interesting.
One thing that is overtly strange in a wonderful way about the Barbie movie is that it's a PG-13 ass movie. Like
Yeah.
it is actively not a kids movie. Um but it also I think could be for kids sort of. It's just a lot that I don't know if it would be appreciated fully by kids. So like the I am kind of interested in seeing what people between the ages of like 13 and 18 think about this movie.
Yeah.
Um but like this movie feels like it's for people who are above the age of 22, you know?
I
Like
feel like a good test of it would be like if you could take a sample of the audience
mhm
and then take like a list of jokes, references, points which were made, and just
mhm
see which ones got remembered by which person.
mm
It would be like an interesting experiment, just like on society.
wow.
That's what Barbie movie is. That's all this is now. This is just a societal experiment.
Yeah, it's a we're a
This
part of
wasn't a ploy.
the largest peer-reviewed study since
Just like,
I don't know any
how's
peer
society
reviews.
doing out there? I don't know. Let's put the Barbie
Yeah,
movie out. We'll find out.
yeah.
You know, we'll see.
It's a
We'll see if we're
psyop from the
progressing.
government.
Every few
um,
years. Last one was
yeah,
Mamma Mia 2.
yeah.
We can get the audience. Yeah.
It's true. Every so often, it's like, "How we doing out there? Are we okay?
Yeah.
Let's find out." I not I don't want to talk about the Barbie movie too much because it's very best gone in not knowing that much.
Yeah.
But it I saw it on Thursday night. It blew me away. It's one of I think right now at least it's one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Of
Um
all, wow. Okay.
of
I
all
thought you were about to say
time.
like of this year, but you've gone all time. Okay. Maybe I
I
do
don't
need
know.
to see it.
Sometimes I'm like top 10 of all time is it like that's a tall order, you know? That's a
That's a big
hyperbole.
big
I
list,
can
right? Like
usually say something if I like something this much, I can usually say it's in my top 20 of all time for sure, but
right.
like but I but then that just sounds like you're putting it low. But I don't know. Like that's there's so many movies in this
Still
world.
top 20. Yeah. Like there's like millions of films. To
Yeah,
pick 20.
totally. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was yeah, have you watched Greta Gerwig's movies, Lady
Mm-hmm.
Bird, Little Women? Yeah.
Yeah.
She does it again. She does her Greta Gerwig special on this movie and it's one of the most like I can't believe they let her do that kind of brand movies
Okay. Right. Yeah.
in a big way. I'm like,
Yeah.
you made a movie that you wanted to make. Like my friend was saying, like oftentimes like directors will kind of do a one for me, one for them, one for me, one for them kind of thing. But like this is a
Yeah.
one for them. If this is a one for them, wow. Like because it feels like a one for her, you know? Um
I feel like
and
that could be mixed though. But maybe that's
yeah.
my conspiracy mind of just like I feel like Barbie over the last 10 years,
Uh-huh.
like symbolically they're in that edge of like you could be presented wrongly and you still have this like huge iconic history
Mm.
and you're doing very positive things, but like we kind of said, it's like when you think of it, you're automatically thinking of like a very niche, this is for girls, this is this,
Mhm.
and maybe this is where they need to just like foot plant themselves. There's like we can do
Oh.
other things.
Yeah, we can be real in a way that our
Yeah,
brand has not been associated with before.
yeah.
Wow. The 4D chess of it all.
I know.
Um,
It's too much. Mamma Mia
yeah.
3 better kick ass, otherwise it's gonna be the world will end.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of hoping Mamma Mia 3 will save us all. It's gonna fix our problems. What's gonna open up against Mamma Mia 3? What's
Oh,
gonna
you
be
can't
the
open against Mamma Mia 3. It's like, you know, when you hear about like companies and they announce like a release date for like a
yeah,
game or like a film,
yeah.
and then you hear
Hmm.
about other companies moving their release date. That'll be
Yeah.
Mamma Mia 3.
Yep. They're scared.
Yeah.
Um
It's, and if they did it wrong, it would end up like going straight to streaming and then like by petition end up at the cinema.
yeah.
You have to.
It can't go straight to stream. You need to see that in theater.
I think this is just proving that when you make things and when you look at things, you have to be passionate about them.
Yeah,
Like Rogo, like yourself.
thank you.
You have to enjoy the thing you're doing. Otherwise, yeah, you'll make
Yeah.
Oppenheimer.
Oop. Take that, C. Nolan. Um, yeah, I'm very into people being passionate about things and not killing themselves to do them. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's a
Um,
positive note to round this out.
I'm down. Yeah, thanks so much for
Mhm.
asking me to chat today. This was really fun.
No worries. Thank you for
Yeah,
coming, Trevor. As I say,
absolutely,
like,
dude.
I'll have you back anytime. We could do all this
Yeah,
all day. And when
sounds
we
great.
start that YouTube channel, like criticizing 80s videos, we're all
Absolutely.
over
Yeah,
there.
we're all
All
over. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like,
All right.
stay in touch, and I would love to do this again sometime.
I have one more question for you before we run off,
Please. Yeah.
which I'm asking every guest, which you
Cool.
may know if you watched them, not know, depending on if you watched another episode all the way through. I don't blame you if you didn't. Who should I speak to next?
Ooh, who should you speak to next?
Yeah, it can be anybody.
Um, damn. Are we talking like people I could get you in contact with, or people that are like presidents of nations?
I mean, I am completely willing to send an email to anybody because emails are protective and they can ignore it if they want to ignore it. But I am
Yeah.
happy to have people I can realistically get and people who will send people to my house to tell me never to do that ever again.
Send people to your house. They're just
I
like,
feel
hey,
like if there's
please
certain
don't.
people I email, they'll be like, "Who are
Mhm.
you? Why are
Yeah.
you? How did you get this email?"
Do not email the president. Stop emailing the
I don't know.
president.
The
Uh
president does not want to come on your podcast, Greg. Did you we can revoke your visa anytime. Like, yeah, does Biden want to come on like a baby? I don't know.
yeah, maybe he's into podcasts. I don't know. Let me think. Wow. Honestly, like if we're talking YouTubers, um, I I feel like conversations with either Jenny Nicholson or CJ the X are probably like those are very solid. I don't know either of them personally though. I do have a couple. I have a friend, Madeline, who started a channel pretty recently and has been getting some numbers, and she's about to release a video on Beau is Afraid, which we talked for like an hour and a half in my car, like on the phone. I was just sitting, like I was about to go to the farmer's market, and we were just talking about Beau is Afraid on the phone for like an hour and a half, and I was like, damn, I'm invested in this. So I'm sure she would love to come on, but yeah. Um so yeah,
Yeah,
good
more
stuff.
than happy. Send me some details. No, I'll send
Love
a
it.
blanket email in.
Okay,
But yeah.
good
All
stuff.
right. Well, yeah. And check out all the videos which we mentioned today because why not? It will take you ages.
Yeah,
But
it's a
definitely
lot
watch
of
Trevor's video
content.
on Mamma Mia too if you haven't already. Because why
Sweet.
not? All right.
I love it. All right,
Cool.
thanks
In that
guys.
case, we will talk to these guys later.
Yeah.